Okay, we are back. So this slideshow is informed citizenship. Once again, this is more material from civics. Keep that in mind. We live in a digital age, which means that we get our information online. Most of us, like myself, probably don't even read the article. You just read the headline and then you make an opinion of whatever's in there based on the headline. Part of that might be because we don't really read anymore. How many of you read like 30 minutes a day? I don't read 30 minutes a day. Okay, a couple of us, right? How many of you read 30 minutes in a week? Probably. Just anything, read. But you have to read it.
News?
You can read news, you can read a book, but you gotta read, not just listen, okay? Let's make sure we're not talking, okay? So a lot of people get their information from search engines, Google. Nobody really uses Yahoo. I think that's really dating the...
This one does. Yuki?
No.
What do you mean this one?
Nowadays, how many of you, out of curiosity, raise your hands, how many of you use ChatGPT to learn things?
You gotta try to learn.
You kids even know what ChatGPT is?
Yeah.
I use it for like stuff for my project.
So I use ChatGPT to summarize information for my slideshows, some of the stuff I'm making for grade 10. Right?
Cheater.
It's not cheating.
Yeah, it is. I got in trouble for using ChatGPT. Why don't you? Oh yeah, same here.
But I don't submit it as my own thoughts. Right? Like I'm not handing it in as an essay saying this is how well I could write.
I do that.
That's cheating.
I don't like
I did it once and then I
I
redid
swear I
it.
don't. I swear I don't.
Now keep in mind, let's quiet down. Let's quiet down, thank you very much. At the front, on the side. At the front again. Still talking. Okay, one of you move. Pick. No, you're not moving there. You're gonna move back there. Since you volunteered, you can go over there. At the back. At the back. There's only one desk there. Okay. All of these platforms, it's important to know, grade 9s, filter the information you see. We talked a little bit about this yesterday, maybe with the other grade 9 class. You have fact checkers, right? You have various agencies and sources that determine whether or not something's true or fake. You also have algorithms, so they're just going to show you what you interact with, and maybe that puts you into an echo chamber, particularly politically. Okay. They might also just remove posts outright. That's called censorship. They might promote other news stories over others, which is bias. Okay. So an algorithm is just a computer code. It's a coding system. It tells whatever that algorithm is in how to operate. Particularly for the online stuff, it's just more about sorting information and providing you with something that you'll engage with, whether that's what you watch, what you click like on, what you respond to. Now, typically, you know, people respond more strongly to things that are emotional, that stir up some emotion. And within that, people generally respond to things that make them angry, I would say. That get them all fired up, a little upset. So the algorithm naturally is going to give you more of that. So if you watch a video where, you know, so-and-so destroys so-and-so political group, and you watch the whole thing, the algorithm is going to go, hey, this person actually watches these videos. Let's give them more of that. And then you just see that one narrative. Okay, but if you watch a lot of cat videos, which Miss Curry might do sometimes while her kids are doing art,
Call me out.
right?
Jeez.
The algorithm's going to send her more live feeds of aquariums, of cats. But the cat ones were the best. Miss Curry had one where
There's
where
kittens, it's a
oh,
live
I should also add. I'm recording, just so you're aware. I'm recording my lesson, but
Burning World.
yeah, kids are doing art, and there's a live stream of just kittens playing. It was wonderful. Great place to be. Okay. So if you interact with stuff, that's what the algorithm is going to give back to you. And the more you interact with it, so let's say, how many of you like read comment threads? Okay, sometimes you find some like chaos, some nonsense, right? You just see two idiots going at it. Okay. How many of you comment yourself? I don't. A couple of us.
Can I add something?
Yeah, go ahead.
So there was this like girl who was an actor that was like playing Elsa as a princess actor. So for kids at this Christmas event, and it was on TikTok, and these people were like, "That's not Frozen, that's Thawed." They were like, "That's not Elsa, that's Isla."
That's not Elsa. That's what?
Isla.
Islam. Jeez.
Yeah.
So people are just being rude.
Yeah.
You know, on that note, yesterday my algorithm popped up some random like video. This girl who was buying like organic stuff from a farmer's market. I don't know why, but this girl had a big bump running down her forehead. And some of the comments, I have to say, kids, as mean as they were hilarious. So people are like, "Oh, this girl always thinks twice," because it looked like she had two foreheads. So, you know, if you interact on videos like that, the algorithm's just gonna send you more of those videos, right? So those people are just gonna keep seeing that page.
Did you hear about that person that said that they didn't like their ex-boyfriend or girlfriend, and they changed their algorithms on YouTube for them so that none of the things that they, yeah, so they had like the perfect algorithm. The boyfriend had like his algorithm was all set up, and then she got mad.
That's evil.
And
That's evil.
So that he got none of the cat videos. Fantastic.
Okay, but they're gonna. This computer is very good at learning, right? And some people would argue that they know more about human nature than people who study that do. Pretty fair, right? It can compile and amass and look at significant amounts of data, right? And it's gonna know your attitude, your interests. Like your algorithm knows you better than you know yourself, pretty much.
Yeah.
Okay. We already talked. You don't necessarily need to take notes on this slide. We've already talked about it. It's in the video. But anything you like, comment, share. Okay. I used to share a lot of. Actually, here's like an algorithm thing. So 5-10 years ago, I used to share a lot of posts from Humans of New York. Have any of you heard of this page?
Yep.
Okay. It's a photographer. He goes around. He listens to people's stories. Sometimes he does special opinion pieces. So my Facebook popped up saying like, "Hey, you have a memory from 7 years ago," and I clicked on it, and it was one of his posts that I had shared, but from a series from, you know, he interviewed people who were given life sentences. But ever since, you know, every other day, every couple of days, Facebook will now say, "Hey, you have a memory from 7 years ago, 5 years ago, 6 years ago," and it's always a Humans in New York post. Okay, so as soon as you start engaging with information online, if there's an algorithm operating behind it, giving you more content, it will respond immediately. Right, that's kind of the point I want to make there.
Your phones and computers like listen to what you talk about too, because my cousin and I were talking about a concert a couple years ago, and then like 20 seconds later she's on Facebook looking for like work stuff and talking to her work friend, and up comes that concert.
Right, and the people will say, "Oh no, you probably searched it sometime and you forgot." It's like, no, I didn't search some of this stuff. I just talked about it, and I started seeing advertisements. So that's like really gray area, right? Some people are saying, no, it's not real. Some people are very convinced it's real, right? But we definitely have experienced that, where you talk to someone about something, and the next thing you know, you have advertisements about it.
And there's something with that thing where now they think that the cameras are tracking the eye movements on what posts these people are looking at and how their eyes are reacting. And because there is something in the iPhone, the facial recognition isn't by the camera, it's a sensor in the phone that isn't shown, because if you cover up that camera, that facial recognition will still go on.
Really? I don't have face recognition on my phone.
And the phone will still open.
Yeah. Okay.
So they think that
You can try it later.
they think
Let me try it with someone's phone.
well, it's not gonna work.
No, that's mine, that's mine. No.
Well, if you look at it in the dark, it's got a red like
Yeah, there's
Interesting.
and they think that like especially for Instagram, that search page, there's a bunch of different posts and everything, and they think that sometimes when people look at a certain post and they refresh their page, all they get is posts related to that post.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like that's so weird.
Well, I find that one thing that kind of throws off the Instagram algorithm is just using it through a web browser. Right, that's what I do on my phone. I don't even have the Instagram app on my phone. But definitely, I want to say that technology has existed for some time. Because a couple years ago, I forget which brand of company it was, but they were releasing, I think it was Androids. They were releasing phones that could like track your eye movement, and so you could scroll up and down on your phone just using your eyes, right? But you had to enable it. That was like almost 10 years ago. So for sure, that technology has improved to the point where if you're on Instagram and your eye moves to a certain thing and it tracks roughly what you're looking at, it's entirely possible. Like there are algorithms based on not just what you click with, but what you literally like physically interact with, right? So if you scroll to a certain point and maybe you don't want to click on the post, but you're staring at it, you know, if you're staring long enough, it might become obvious that you're looking at a particular thing, and then it could potentially reflect that back to you.
What you're saying too about like big eye recognition,
Girls.
or how was developed like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I know there's a defense contracting company that one of their ex-directors has said